What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bios3 Raw TV. Today we're going to talk about something we talked about on the Geared Up Radio podcast last week that I did with Adam McVeigh and Dave Johnston. And we were talking to Heather Grace about women's physique, and I actually had posed a question about women's figure. I asked her about Nicole Wilkins, who I thought last year in 2013 brought the most amazing figure physique to the stage that I'd ever seen. Hands down, it was, I feel, perfect. Like, that's what the standard should be. She had wide shoulders. She was hard, but not too hard. I mean, athletic, sleek looking, pretty. I mean, she had everything that you needed to be. And I was like, that's it. That's the one physique, like, that over time, figure has nailed it. This is it. This is what the standard should be. It'll go down, or she will go down in history in my book as having the best figure physique ever. And, you know, we were talking about the progression of women's physique, which now, you know, seems to be a little bigger and harder than when it first came out. I guess the girls were a little softer a few years ago, if I remember correctly. You know, it definitely was not really hard glutes being seen, not striations, stuff like that. And now it's starting to move in that direction, but the girls are not as big as the bodybuilders. And we're also talking about the physique division for men. Now, when physique first came out a few years ago, I remember being at Team U, and there was a buddy of mine that I knew that had a couple of guys in the show, and they wound up winning the physique show, and I think they get their pro cards that day too. And you know, they were said, hey, what we basically do is we train them like a half-ass bodybuilder, and we get them, you know, we do everything wrong, and next thing you know, they get the physique of a physique competitor and they win. And you know, that was 2011. Now flash forward to 2014, we got guys on stage that are 220 pounds in the fucking physique division that are hard. Like, they have board shorts on, and you can't see their glutes, but I can guarantee you a lot of these guys have striated glutes. They're hard, dry, full, vascular. And you see them backstage, you know, they get their sweats and stuff on, and when they pull their pants off and they get a pair of board shorts, you're like, what the fuck? You're a physique? What do you weigh? Like, 218. And I'm like, that's a heavyweight bodybuilder. You know, light heavyweight cutoff is fucking 198. You guys are bigger. You know, when it first started, it was supposed to be a toned-down version of bodybuilding to where it looked like more like a model, like physique model type thing. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of those physique model guys coming in still, but they're not placing as well anymore. And the top pros are fucking big. Mark Anthony is big. Fucking Sadiq is big. You know, what's his name? Michael Anderson. I've seen him in person. He's big. I mean, the guys are big. So, you know, what the hell is going on? Like, what are we gonna do? Like, you know, they came out with physique to keep it more mainstream, and to, you know, the bloated steroid GH insulin look was not really mainstream, and they're trying to tone that back to get, you know, more recognition. But now the fucking guys are getting even bigger. Now I'm listening to what some of these guys are fucking doing, and I'm like, dude, you're doing just as much as the fucking bodybuilder is. You're fucking doing the same diet, you're doing the same training program. I mean, you're basically a bodybuilder with board shorts on. You know, and you look at the girls in physique, and some of these girls are starting to push the drugs. Again, they're getting fucked up faces, their physiques are looking, you know, they're still more feminine because they don't carry as much muscle as the bodybuilders did, but it's going in that direction again. So now, you know, even bikini now, I'm seeing on the national level, are going a little bit harder. Like, you got a bikini girl backstage, and the bikini that the bikini girl wears and the suit that a figure girl wears are two different things. They have two different, like, straps and stuff on them, and the cut is different in the back. But other than that, you wouldn't be able to stand them side by side and figure out which one's bikini, which one's figure anymore. Like, bikini's turning more into figure, figure's turning into more what physique should be, physique's turning more into what bodybuilding was, and, you know, men's physique is turning more into what bodybuilding is. So it's like, you know, they just don't have to hit the poses, and they get to wear a, hey, bro, what's going on, buddy? They get to wear a pair of board shorts and not have to hit any fucking glute back poses. That's pretty much what it is. So, you know, the whole idea of why they made these divisions to make things more mainstream and make it more attainable and have people be more involved is already, within the past few years, evolving to the point where eventually people are going to be like, you know what, I don't want to fucking do this because I'm not going to win. You know, right now, the whole Instagram thing, when it took off, Instagram and Facebook, all these people want to go out there, do a show, put the tan on, get a few pictures, put them up on Instagram and use them to pick up chicks, use them to start businesses, all that stuff like that. It's not really about the competing anymore, I'd say, with at least 70% of what's going on. It's about trying to build a name for themselves and do something other than, you know, let's say they want to be a fucking professor. Well, I don't want to do professor anymore. I want to be a fucking sports model. You know what I mean? So next thing you know, they're out there, you know, doing a show. They do one show, they put a picture up, they put a video of themselves up, they start a fucking YouTube channel, and all of a sudden they're coach to the fucking stars. And you're like, what the fuck, how did this happen? You did one show. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. And you hired a coach for that show, so what the fuck do you know what you're doing? And next thing you know, there are these teams all over the place. So I don't really know what the future of the sport is. You know, at first I was like, you know, the whole physique thing I thought was good. I said, this is good for the sport. It's going to evolve. And there's actually a different division in Europe called classical bodybuilding. Now this would be more like Arnold, Frank Zane, those types of physiques that and they actually have the thicker cut trunks that it does pretty well in Europe, but it's not really big in America now. And they haven't even, well, it's not even that's big. They don't even fucking have it here. But that is like the in between physique and bodybuilding. That's the 198 pound, 200 pound bodybuilder with the streamlined physique and the small flat waist hitting poses. And I feel like if they instated that into America and used that, you'd have the option of keeping physique a lot more toned down on more of the model type. And at the same time, have a place for those guys who are a little bit bigger than physique guys naturally, but can't get as big as the bodybuilders. Like if you have bikini, physique, figure, and fitness, you have all those divisions for women, you get the two for guys. There's a reason why there's such a random selection in each one of those classes, because there's not enough actual divisions to fit the type of bodies that are out there. So I do think that maybe they should come up with a classical bodybuilding here in America, and that might actually be able to keep physique more physique and keep the heavyweight bodybuilding or modern bodybuilding more bodybuilding, but give those guys a chance that don't want to have either one of those physiques inside. It gives them a place to compete. So, I mean, whether or not that happens, that's to be seen. But, they do have the classical bodybuilding. I check it out here and there. I think the Arnold in Europe has it, and there's a bunch of the European IFBB sanctioned shows that have it. And the guys got great physiques, So, I mean, there's really nothing you could lose by instating that division here in America. You'd actually probably gain some more people because they are too big for physique and too small for bodybuilding. There's that one place that they go, well, I don't really fit. You know what I mean? So I think that would be a good fit. But until that happens, physique is going to progress towards bodybuilding. Bodybuilding, I mean, I don't see it going back to I think it's got as bloated and fat as it's going to get. I don't think it could get any worse without the guys fucking just looking like they don't even lift. But, they're going to have to do something at some place to make sure that they balance physique still being around and being legitimate, and bodybuilding being around and still legitimate. And there's going to have to be a place for those people that don't fit into either one. So we'll see. It's be interesting to see what happens then. Biopsytraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biopsytraining.com is a blog where it's the new division, possibly bicep, and we're out.